Have you ever wondered what They Might Be Giants have been up to since you stopped listening to them? I was a huge fan at one time, but lost touch with them over the years. It's time to go back. Here's a look at their 2015 album, Glean. And here is the vinyl version. It's got a custom sticker here on the shrink wrap. I bought this directly from They Might Be Giants themselves, their official merchandise store, and they all come with this. So that's cool. I'll keep that with it. This is a card. Trust me, it's a card. See? This is the download code. Don't look at the download code. The cool thing about this is it is not a gatefold, but I can tell that it, on both sides, it's got this cutout hole in the middle of it. What do you call that? Die cut? Anyway, so let's see what this is. A big jack and some universe stuff, and then there's the trees here and some kind of guts or something like that. So let's go ahead and open this up, see what it looks like inside, see what the vinyl looks like. How do I open this? Here we go. Okay. I had my hands, before I opened this, I had my hands at the doctor replaced with the hands of somebody who's much cleaner than me. I had a doctor remove my hands and put on new hands. So these hands are very clean, so they will not stain and get fingerprints on this nice album jacket. Okay, so here's the download thing. Thank you for purchasing this copy of They Might Be Giants, Glean. Okay, here we go. Why is this cut out like that? Okay, here's the inside. Oh, beautiful, beautiful They Might Be Giants. Good job. And the universe stuff on the other side is merely that. Okay, anyway, here is this lovely picture of the inside of someone's jaw and skull. And just basic information about the band and who designed this and who produced the album and everything. So anyway, let's take a look at the vinyl. Ooh, this is kind of thick and glossy, this paper. The vinyl seems to really be sticking to it, like static sticking to it. Okay. Side A is a fist on a universe. No text except for A. B is a bunch of birds in a weird-looking dead kind of tree thing, and a little bit of text around the outside. This is going to be awesome. So, let's go listen to it and then see what does Glean sound like. Okay, I've been absorbing Glean, and here are my thoughts. First of all, the album has to be seen in its context. Let me tell you a story. I took an art history class in college. The teacher said that the approach most people have to art, which is, I don't know much about art, but I know what I like when I see it, isn't really good enough. I disagreed at first, but soon came to completely agree with her. For context is important. It goes for music, too. It isn't just enough to say you know what sounds good to you or not. You can get a richer appreciation by understanding the times in which some piece of music was made, and the artist's life and career, and the intentions and the circumstances, and anything else relevant to the work. So knowing the context of Glean changes how you listen to and regard it. The context for us is that Glean was made up of songs that They Might Be Giants were releasing each week online as part of their grand 2015 Dial-A-Song Reboot project. Of the 52 songs that were part of the core weekly releases, 15 out of the first 21, which was through about May 2015, I think, were gathered together, and that's what Glean is. So when you listen to Glean, you're sort of listening to 1/3 of a whole thing. But that whole thing wasn't designed to be a solid, consistent piece, necessarily. And this was all a revival of the band's old Dial-A-Song from the 80s and 90s, in which snippets and demos and full songs and experimental stuff would be recorded onto an answering machine's outgoing message, changing every day sometimes. So that's the context that helps explain the unusual feel that Glean has. Its songs are less fussy than the ones on recent albums like Nanobots. This is They Might Be Giants openly churning out songs, and so their melodies and lyrics, the basic building blocks of popular music, come to the fore, while the far-out production is toned down. That just wasn't what the focus of this fast-moving project was. And because of that, it took me a few listens to completely settle into Glean. Once you do that, though, you start to detect the intricacies and the subtle textures that make each of its 15 tracks stand out and take shape. And that's really only for about half the songs, actually. Half of Glean is songs that command attention and respect the first time you hear them. I guess in that way, Glean is no different than most TMBG albums, and maybe most albums by anyone. I mean, half of it hits you right away, and the other half sort of lies in wait, pending your further attention. So Glean is overall less flashy than, say, Nanobots or Join Us. Generally, there is less heavy guitar stuff. But there are still plenty of songs built on unusual and interesting textures, and the lyrical themes zip around all over the place like they usually do on TMBG albums. In my other videos, I've generally detected a theme running through a given album each for John Linnell and John Flansburgh. But interestingly, on Glean, there seems to be one main focus shared by the songs of the two Johns, and that focus is desperation. So whether the music is dramatic in minor key, or bouncy guitar rock, or sweet, sweeping pop, the characters in Glean's songs are at their wits' ends, and may have been for some time. Whether it's the narrator of a song or someone the narrator is witnessing, lives arriving at or stuck at crossroads abound in these tracks. There are relationships that are being strained to their breaking point, there are lonely people recalling past loves, characters with no self-confidence wishing for help, and someone with a dissatisfied curiosity who's hell-bent on finding out the answers to questions he'd probably rather not know. People are forlorn and confused on Glean, and their lives are given lyrical glances whose cursory nature emphasizes the distance they're experiencing in their lives. Offsetting all of this are the rays of hope that occasionally burst through, as in Flansburgh's sublime Good to Be Alive, in which a bedridden victim of something is finally regaining the use of his body and his limbs and his mind again. More so than other TMBG albums, I've so far found Glean to be one that demands a bit more attention because its riches are buried deeper, and they're part of a landscape that isn't all laid out for you at first. This is the two Johns refusing to go to you. They're hunkered down in their lab, chemically creating pop songs for Dial-A-Song, and they don't have the time or inclination to tailor everything so that it comes and grabs you. You have to enter their world to get it. You have to actually park your car, get out, walk down the streets of Glean, take a good peek into the windows of its citizens. About the production on Glean. Like most TMBG albums, it was produced by the two Johns and Pat Dillett, and it definitely sounds like a TMBG album. Lots of songs have that punchy rhythm track that the band loves so much, and it's still generally true that John Linnell is drawn to both energetic and offbeat styles, while Flansburgh focuses on comparatively gentler melodies and slower, sparser music. There are still quite a few experimental touches throughout the LP, especially the cool and dramatic End of the Rope, which sort of reminds me of Elvis Costello, and the remarkable Hate the Villanelle, which reminds me of nothing I've ever heard before. The title track, Glean, is an instrumental built upon blips from a mellotron, a classic early synthesizer. And even the straight-ahead rock songs like Erase and Ah have unusual touches that make them pop and sizzle enigmatically. Videos were made for every single song on Glean, generally by outside video artists commissioned by the band. So it's possible to listen and watch the whole album. Although I would strongly recommend that if you haven't heard the album yet, try to get to know it without any visuals first. Your own images in your head are always most important. About the vinyl version of Glean. It has this cool die-cut cover, which we saw, and so when you're looking at the trees or the jack on the back, lumberjack, you can slide the inner sleeve in and out and see either a universe or this medical drawing. It's fun to watch the full color labels with the fist or the birds in a tree spinning around the record player. The packaging was designed by TMBG collaborator Paul Sayre. Again, there are no printed lyrics in the album. I don't always need or care about printed lyrics in albums, but when it comes to TMBG, I would like them. They're not a band that just throw in any old words to take up space in a song. I could have done without the universe, for example, just to make room for the lyrics, especially on this nice thick cardstock. Or just make the album a gatefold like Join Us. Have more room for everything. Oh well, whatever. Minor quibble. So, to recap, overall, Glean is both mysterious and simple, conventional and experimental, and throughout very approachable. Multiple listens are rewarding, and several of these tracks are as good as anything the band has ever done. That's about all you could want or need from a They Might Be Giants album. Thanks for watching. The next album will be the children's album, Why? And after that will be, where is it? Phone Power. And that will be the main trilogy of Dial-A-Song 2015 done. So now I'm off to go hear Why, and this will be the first time I will have ever heard a They Might Be Giants kids album. So, see you then. see. I'm confused. What if I put it back like this? Would it look strange? Of course it'll look strange, but it'll look... I think that's just as good. It works anyway. And the remarkable